Now then, so today we're going to talk about the sad truth of Battlefield and Call of Duty. These are two franchises I've played for many years, and I've loved them for many years. And they used to be very good many years ago, but not so now. So I'm going to tell you why, and I'll try not waffle on too much. I'll try and get to the point and make it as simple as possible. So we'll start off with Battlefield. Well, in particular, Battlefield 2042. Shambles. I mean, I could spend an hour talking about why, but I'll get to the basics. No campaign, no scoreboard. I mean, these are just basic things that we come to expect from a Battlefield game. In previous Battlefields, and I'll bring you to Battlefield Bad Company 2, a game that I first played and was hooked on the Battlefield, franchise. The destruction that you could do, the campaign was funny but realistic as well. Yes, it was quite arcadey, but it was still good. The multiplayer was brilliant. Had the Americans versus the Russians, and it was fun. It wasn't like a Milsim, but it was still fun. And throughout the battlefields, like Battlefield 3, you had your co-op, which was something new. It's quite unique. It was all right. Wasn't too amazing, but wasn't bad either. It was a good effort. The campaign was a lot more gritty than Bad Company 2, and the multiplayer was just a level up from Bad Company 2. And then we get Battlefield 4. Campaign was alright, but it wasn't anything compared to BF3. But the multiplayer was brilliant. It was a one up from BF3. Battlefield 1, brilliant campaign, very gritty, very realistic, and the same thing for the multiplayer. I loved how you could play as the Italians, the Ottoman Empire, the Brits, the Americans, the Germans. It was brilliant. Battlefield 5 was alright, wasn't too good, but then you had Battlefield 2042. Shithole. It's not good. I mean, I didn't include Hardline because I didn't play it, but I'm pretty sure I would do. It seems like a good game. But getting back to 2042, I haven't played this, but I've seen what it is, and it's just shocking. I'm genuinely upset how a game company like DICE has made brilliant Battlefields. I think I said Call of Duty then, but they've made Battlefield games that have been praised for just innovating the gaming world, if you will. And I'm glad I was a part of that. That journey, but not so anymore because they care more about the money than the fans and the actual content. And we can see that with Battlefield 2042. No scoreboard, basic mechanics missing, buggiest game, I mean, since Cyberpunk. It's just a shambles and it's upsetting. And I do think that the next Battlefield has to be just out of this world. It's got to be. It's make or break now. I mean, I think Battlefield 2042 was probably the nail in the coffin for most people, but I'm still that naive Battlefield supporter. I want the next one to be good, because if it is, okay, let's just say 2042 was a mishap. But I don't know, if I'm honest. I don't know if the next one will be good. If it's not, then it will be the end for Battlefield franchise, and I think that they'll probably nip it in the bud, and that's upsetting, but I think it's necessary, because if you can't make good games anymore, you might as well just stop and remaster the the ones that used to be good. So that's my 2 cents on that. If we come to Call of Duty, Call of Duty was the very first ever I think game I played on the 360. Yeah, it was. When I got my 360 in 2010, I had these games that were already with it. So I had World at War, which you see on the right, and COD 4 Modern Warfare. And I loved these games. These games were the beginning of my love of war games. COD 4 was its it wasn't realistic because it was a fictional setting, but it had the basis of of a realistic game, and obviously World at War was a realistic World War Two shooter, um, and it was just nice. It was refreshing because I don't think there was games like it out there, and it was unique, and especially with the game modes like Modern Warfare Two, for example, had your Spec Ops, um, World at War had your zombies, and I also forgot to talk about in the Battlefield bit. But Battlefield 3 had a co-op. It was alright, it wasn't too good, but just I didn't want to miss that out. But getting back to COD, it was just good. It was fun. It was arcadey. There was bits of realism, not as much as Battlefield, but it was still realistic in the campaign. But the multiplayer was just a joy. You could spend hours on there. And then you come to nowadays, and it's just dry, boring. You know, there's no imagination. It's just a carbon copy of the last game. It's just sad. I mean, if you look at Call of Duty Vanguard, ah, Jesus, why has this geezer got a chrome MG42 and a diamond helmet? I'm pretty sure the Germans didn't have that much money in World War Two, and I'm pretty sure they didn't start pimping out their MP40s. Um, in Vanguard, there's a mission in Japan where the soldiers are using STG 44 MP40s, and I'm thinking this just didn't happen. This is just insulting. There's one thing to make it fictional in parts, but when it's World War Two, I just don't see the positives in Chrome MG42s. You didn't even get that in World at War, and yes, even World at War had reflex sights and stuff. Not over the top. It was just a few scopes. So we sort of let them off with that because of the amazing game they produced. But Vanguard has no leg to stand on. Has no letting off the hook, shall we say? Because I mean, just look at it. It's just, if someone said to me, "What do you think this game is?" I would not say it was a World War Two shooter. I'd say I don't know, maybe I forgot what it's called, but um, I just wouldn't think it was a Call of Duty game. But yeah, I'm not too happy with how Call of Duty's going because they care more about money, do the companies. It's the same thing with Battlefield. Um, they'll ship out a game every year, and you can tell it's definitely been made in a year. There's so many problems with it, um, and it's saddening. And I think the same thing, with Call of Duty or with Activision. If the next Call of Duty is not good, which is it, well, this one is the newest one that's coming out this year, in 2022. It's going to be a sequel to the 2019. Now, the 2019 was good. That Call of Duty was good, but Cold War was supposed to be, Black Ops 1 but better. It wasn't. And Vanguard was supposed to be better than World at War and World War Two combined, and it's not. Shit. So, I think if this next Call of Duty isn't any good, then You need to remaster the old ones and call it a day. And actually get back to the drawing boards and actually have a look at what made your games brilliant. And it's pretty simple. It's not rocket science. These people aren't, you know, college students like me. They're professionals of this. Just look back at your old games. If you want to make a World War II shooter, look back at World at War. It was a gritty setting. It was quite dark. The only light was fire and explosions. All right, let's try and do something like that. If you're trying to make a modern game, okay, well, we had Modern Warfare 2, bit misty, bit darky. But it was mainly murky. Was the whole overall picture. But it was a gritty, but with dry humour at times. That's what we like, and realistic as well. Realistic. That's my 2 cents on Call of Duty. What I will say, just to finish off, these are my finishing off remarks. I do game design in college. I've done it for 6 years, so I understand that it's not the developers' fault. The developers probably work very hard. It's the people at the top that are the problem. And I've worked with all sorts of software, Unity, Unreal. I've worked with 3ds Max, Maya. I've even made my own script for a game. I've done many projects, and I think you get the gist. I know quite a bit. I've even used Illustrator and Inkscape, so I've done quite a bit, and I understand the struggle because with Unity, which I've used, it's a coding platform. So if you want to make a 2D game, you have to use Unity on Unreal Engine. So we used Unity, and you've got to follow this. Well, you've got to put the code in word for word. So if you make a week's worth of work in coding, and there's a single capital letter or a slash or whatever wrong, it won't work. It's a piss take, and I can understand with the game developers, if they want to change the reflex side because it's a bit odd, that might interfere with the gun itself, or it might interfere with another attachment. It's a weird knock-on effect. It's really bizarre. I spoke to my tutor about it, and he explained, because we're making a game actually in a group, and he said, well, if you do this, make sure it doesn't mess up anything else up, which was interesting, because I didn't expect, an attachment on a gun to break, other guns. So I understand the difficulties that they go through, but they're not college students. They're professionals. Something that I would get stuck on. For them, it's like walking up the stairs, piece of piss. So it is saddening, and I am worried for the future of these two great franchises, because if it is the end of them, well, who else do we have? Rockstar, Christ. I mean, they've not done pretty well, have they? With the expanded enhanced. It's not even called the expanded enhanced anymore because it's that shit. And then we've got the trilogy. Although I will say, Hell Let Loose, the people that made it, which was Team 17, I think it was, they've made a World War II shooter that's just like World at War. It's got the arcadey feel, but it's got the full-on realism. It's like a love letter to people that just want a unique World War II shooter. It's beautiful, and I can't wait for them to make a modern game. It could be the repeat of the past for indie companies, because indie companies, they care about the people, they care about the content they make, they keep in touch with their community. They're not like DICE that go, sorry, we're going on a break. Is there a problem? Oh, well, sorry. Team 17, I think that's who made the game. Hell Let Loose. They're good with the community, and when I get my Xbox X, I'll definitely be buying that game and doing a video on it. And I do want to do a video on, Battlefield 4 and other games. I haven't really been posting much because I've been busy. But I hope what I've said you agree with. If you don't, tell me why, and tell me what your views are of the franchises. Please like the video, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Ta-ra.